feedback on our social media handles 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook and Instagram. The numbers to call to be a part of the show this morning is 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. That team is already with me in studio. But we're closing up the first half of the year. If at all you're business owner and you want to advertise, please don't hesitate to reach out on us and get your business known to everyone that needs to come through and support you and grow your business as they expand. We're reaching out to Cruise FM, located right opposite Intare School on Plot 12, Mutila. Let me give you a rewind of the week before we get into a topic of discussion that is already on our social media handles. Now, very, very terrible, sad news coming in. The son of business mogul Sudhir Ruparelia, Rajiv Ruparelia, passed away this morning in a motor accident at Entebbe Express Highway. Very sad. This is coming in literally about 2 weeks after a very known photographer Sad Shots passed away on Entebbe Express to an accident, and this a young man. Sudhir is 35, Rajiv is 35 years, Sad was 32 years. These are my agements, literally very painful there. We pray for comfort to the family of Sudhir Ruparelia, who is a very known businessman for a while. Very terrible there. Now, also very terrible from London, from Oxford, I beg your pardon, where Ugandan United Nations Justice Lydia Mugambi has been jailed for 6 years and 4 months for forcing a woman to work as a domestic slave in the UK. Court also ordered the judge to pay compensation to a tune of £12,600. That's about 60 million Ugandan shillings to the victim. It's now important that you're out there. If you want to help a person, it's where they kill him. Otherwise, you will have problems. But also, if you're a person of Lydia Mugambe's stature, respect the law, no better, because now her PhD is now at hold. Her job at United Nations is in jeopardy. Her brand, her career here, she's a very progressive judge. All that now is in balance. Very terrible for her and the family especially. Now, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Ms. Mariam Wangadi, has ordered the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, to release opposition leader, Mr. Robert Chagulanyi's chief bodyguard, who is known as Eddie Mutwe or Edward Sevofu, there was a picture that was released on social media by General Muhoozi, where he literally showed this man with his head and beard shaved off and literally half of the body part not covered, and it created a very huge sentiments on social media. That's something that we shall be talking about and what really it means. The Nation UTT platform NUP president also said that the party headquarters in Kampala had been raided by soldiers minutes after the CDF threatened to capture him with other party mobilizers. And there was social media rage after former Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Sam Kutesa constructed a church thanking God for curing him of throat cancer after he spent 6 months in Germany seeking medical treatment. On that same occasion, we saw that the Honorable for Remiaga County, Honorable Theodore Sechkubo, was roughed up after seeking an opportunity to address the president in Maogola. Now, Uganda joined the rest of the world to commemorate the International Labour Day with the celebrations held in Nakapiripiliti district in Karamoja sub-region. Now, our topic of discussion this morning also is Uganda's main opposition party, the National Unity Platform, issued a 30-day ultimatum to dissenting members of parliament to either resolve internal disputes or face expulsion ahead of the 2026 election. The team is already in studio. Musat Kwatanese, who is a member of the Patriotic League of Uganda, Katamba Muvunya, who is a councillor in Chitagwenda but is seeking to be the chairperson LC5 Chitagwenda district, Asimu Banjizi, who is a legal scholar and member of the National Resistance Movement, and I have my good friend Land Apollo Tumusime, who is an economist and member of the Alliance for National Transformation. Good morning, Musat Kwatanese, and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, my brother Banyaji. Good morning to fellow comrades here in the studio, and good morning to our dear listeners. I want to join fellow Ugandans in condoling with the family of our great investor, Sudil, who has lost a son who perished this morning in a fatal accident along the express highway. We condole with him because those who don't know Sudil employs, he's one of the people that employs majority Ugandans here in Uganda. He has decided to invest here. He has put all his investments here with a strategy to create employments for Ugandans. So we condole with him. I also want to congratulate His Excellency President Museveni on meeting NRM caucus yesterday and rallying them to go and hold village baradas ahead of the elections that are commencing very soon, NRM party structure elections. It is a good strategy for the NRM government, and it is a good strategy for our leaders. So our leaders out there at village level should hold their NRM MPs accountable, because yesterday President commissioned them to go and hold village baradas to mobilize our people to ensure that our people fully participate in the NRM party structure elections. Right. I thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Katamba Muvunya, and welcome to the big set.
Thank you, my brother Banyaji. I want to tell you that this program is becoming viral because to the coverage of this radio station, it is this program that is most listened to, because most of the time we discuss issues that concerns the population. I want to thank you, therefore, for the work that you are doing for this nation.
Thank you, too.
Mr. Banyaji, recently I was infiltrated by the statement of the party chairman of NUP, the party president of NUP, that that every Muganda that supports NRM is an idiot, that is stupid. That statement embarrassed me. The statement from a president of a party. I want to mention this, Mr. Banyaji. I am assuming that Bobby Wine's head has a mental
Is that your opening remark? Is that how your week was?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say...
That's how bad it was.
It was, yes, it was bad. Yes.
Thank you.
It was bad. Because a president of a party but mentioning such a statement.
But we are going into that as a topic of discussion. Good morning, Mr. Katamba Mufunya. Good morning, Apollo to Musima, and welcome to the big set.
Thank you very much, Comrade Banyaji. And also the parents available and the listeners of the big seat. Well, I want to welcome Ugandans from the Labor Day, which I had on Thursday. I understand that most of the people think Labor Day is for people who have some work to do, who were employed or something. But Labor Day, it's all about celebrating your effort for every Ugandan out there who wake up every morning and you go to do something that adds some value economically. That's your day. But also, I've been moving around and I see some people. I think the NRM elections are on, but what surprises me now is that they are looking for LOC1 flag bearer. In the previous election, they also had flag bearers of LOC1, and then we had someone who holds a stamp, who is the official LOC1 chairman, because the Electoral Commission has not held elections for LOC1 for a couple of years. So you find in a village you have like NRM chairman for the branch. You also have like an NRM flag bearer, but you also have the official local government chairman, LOC1, who has a stamp. So people are always confused. Where should they report their case? Where should they go to? So why would the NRM organize such elections when they know that the Electoral Commission is not going to organize some other elections or something? So I think NRM is the one that is leading this country. They should know how things are being run. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, West Banyaji. Good morning, my fellow panelists today, and our dear listeners out there who happen to be the reason as to why every Saturday morning we have to leave the comfort of our families and our beds and make sure we are here to dissect whatever transpired during the course of the week. Banyaji, on a sad note, allow me to send my condolences to the Rupareria's family. I, for one, as a motorsport fanatic, Uganda's motorsport fraternity has lost an icon, someone that has been there promoting others. The Rajiv Ruparelia rally team has been a big thing, and we thought we'd have him next week for the Power of Africa rally as one of the fans, because he has been out of driving for some time competitively, and may his soul rest in peace. On our political scene, yeah, let me wait for my turn, we shall get into it. It's quite absurd.
Are you still intending to stand in Mutoma?
Come again?
Are you still intending to stand as MP Ruhinda constituency?
Big time.
Because at the start of this term, when you intended to say that after...
No, it's not that when I intended to. Just say I'm still in the race.
Okay. We congratulate you for keeping the spirit high.
Thank you.
The late Kama, we have taught professional ethics as lawyers. This man has come literally 20 minutes to the show. Good morning, Bwenje Deus did it. And welcome to the big seat.
I'm very okay. Of course, I have to mention the fact that one of the judges of the High Court was convicted and sentenced to 6 years and 4 months in prison for forcing a maid to work without pay. And of course, I want to urge the international community that her conduct is not representative of the conduct of all the judges in Uganda, because if you read that judgment, it kind of has a narrative of corruption, because at one time she attempted to bribe another judge, and then she also, of course, was convicted of intimidating a witness and so forth, and that is a judge. And of course, she's in the UK for a scholarship in human rights. She's she's an idol here in regard to the enforcement of human rights. But for her to make those bad choices as she did, I think it is extremely unacceptable. But I hope she can get a lawyer and she files an appeal. But then I just also want to read a short article here. It's an article by Amina Khan. It's written in the Los Angeles Times on the 16th of August 2019. That about 1 in 1,000 black men and boys in America can expect to die at the hands of the police. That makes them 2.5 times more likely than white men and boys to die during an encounter with the police. Now, by the same analogy,
how is that connected to the Libya Mugambe case?
No, that's just on another note.
Yes. Okay.
By the same analogy, when I look at my children, and most of the children in our country here, I actually feel pity for them.
Okay.
I wonder how they are going to survive in the same country as Mhozi.
Okay. Let's stop for a break. When we come back, we're talking about first on what you think about the community not appreciating Mr. Sam Kutesa for building a church in Maogola. Why? These were personal resources. But also, we shall also talk about the 30-day ultimatum given to members of the opposition National Inter-Platform to vacate the party unless they seek reconciliation and forgiveness therein. We're stopping for break. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music. Great music. Great friends.
All right, we are back. It's 24 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. My name is Wesi Givanyaji. The big sit happens every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. It's the same routine. We say to talk about issues of our nation. It's no exception this morning. We're talking about two elements. First, the internet went viral because of the pronouncements of former Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Sam Kutesa, when he thanked God in a very tangible way, constructing a church in Maogola County, where he hails from, in expressing gratitude to God, a promise that he made that if he cured him of throat cancer in Germany, he would say thank you by constructing a church. Ugandans were up in arms because they think Sam Kutesa should have built a hospital instead of a church because they didn't get healed in a church, and that people of Maogola don't necessarily need a church, blah, blah, blah. I want to pick the mind of the colleagues that I have with me in studio. And with me, I have Aporo Tumsime, Asimwe Banjizi, Katamba Mvunya, Deusdidit Bwenje, and Musa Tkwata. Let me start with Katamba here. Katamba, what do you think of Sam Kutesa's move to construct a church in Maogola in gratitude to God for curing him of throat cancer?
Thank you. The country is aware that our friend, our senior man, our senior cadre, Honorable former Minister of Internal Affairs, Honorable Sam Kutesa, has been struggling with health. And it was our prayer all along that he gets healed. And you know, we have our common saying that the doctors treat, but God heals. For us who have...
But that's according to you who believes, Bwenje, who doesn't know the existence of that supreme being, has nothing to do with that statement.
No, I said that some of us have a belief.
Okay.
There are some even who don't believe. I would believe differently. And we also accommodate them. We have no problem. So, Honorable Sam, because of taking time, struggling with the health, he has been visiting several hospitals here in this country, Uganda, and abroad. But eventually, it's God's grace. God helped him, and he got healed. So, in response from what he has been going through, he decided to construct a church. Number one, as a Christian, it is very good to do something financially and support the work of God. It is very good and excellent. Number two, it is very good, it is biblical, that when God does something for you, never forget. There is even a song that Otariebwa Echiruhanga Akukuriri. So therefore, it is also thank God myself and support Sam Kutesa what he did. Out of the struggles, eventually he remembered where he came from and constructed, did something for his God. And he organized the function after the completion of the church. In fact, it is not himself only, because we saw Tororo Cement, big companies, that he participated in financing the construction of the church. So it is not Honorable Sam Kutesa only. These were friends, colleagues, and his partners in business. They also helped him to construct, because the church is very expensive. It is a very big church. So friends and colleagues and people who believe that God can do miracles to people, they also contributed financially to make sure the church is built. So after the completion of the church, there was a function, the official opening, and the president was invited. He was a guest of honor. Now, here comes leaders, other leaders. Sechikubo, as a member of parliament in the district, also attended. But in attendance, Mr. Banyaji, when you organize a personal function, it is not a must that all leaders must have a speech on the function. No. You take part in the selection of the people that are going to give speeches.
That is correct.
Yes, that's correct. So here comes Sechikubo. Sechikubo, number one, was not on the program of speeches, and he was informed. Yes. we are talking about the function.
I think let's allow council. Let's allow. No, he's actually veering.
Well,
Please,
when you are guiding us,
I'm going to give you an opportunity, boy J.
And-
First of all,
and
you,
you
you,
know-
should, you should sit back
you
and
see,
relax.
indiscipline is affecting us everywhere. What the brain is doing is what Sechikubo did. Entering into things, you become an outdated.
Yeah.
Sechikubo is becoming the characters of Sechikubo, the characters of Council Wenge, the characters of Bobo Wayne. They are letting us down. And here I say, is it because of too much intellectuality? Does it come from where people are born from, how they grow? Because there is a lot of things to imagine.
Will you say the same of General Mohozi?
You see, those are
No.
You see, look,
Will you say the same of General Mohozi?
about what?
The
General Moses,
indiscipline.
about what? Indiscipline where? Because now, look at how Sechikubo behaved at the function that was personal. Specifically, thank God for Sam Kutesa's health. The guest of honor is the president. The president of the country is stayed here. Then you come and begin to fight for a microphone. And eventually you are pushed away. What does it depict in the eyes of the public?
Okay.
Number two, Mr. Banyaji.
Conclude on that matter.
As I conclude, is that politically, people copy from leaders. Leaders are mentors. That's why some of us, the upcoming leaders, must always have a mentor, the person that they are following. From what Sechikubo did, do you think any younger leader can follow the suit of the behavior of Sechikubo and survive?
Okay, thank you.
We cannot entertain.
Apollo to Msime.
Yes.
On the events in Maogola, you saw the conduct of Theodore Sechikubo, but also the whole element of Sam Kutesa thanking God by constructing a church on what most people think should have been a construction of a hospital. What is it with politicians? Is it to just satisfy inner intentions and doing politics as usual, or going ahead to do what the community would require of a person of Sam Kutesa?
Yeah, thank you very much, Comrade Banyaji. Now, I'm a last born of 7 in my family, and when I was born, my parents named me to Musime. Literally translating to let us thank him, and they were referring to thanking God. So, what am I trying to mean? There has been always thanksgiving everywhere. Most of us here, maybe apart from Council Wenje, we know what it means by thanksgiving. Every time you get a new opportunity, every time you get a deal in business, every time you strike something out, you come to thank God. And people have different ways on how they appreciate God. So really, I don't hold any wrong opinion against Honorable Sam Kutesa for his choice to construct a church as a way of thanking God. We've done that. I have also supported the church. I am a church person. I've supported some churches around, and that's very key.
Isn't that pretentious that people like you know that you did not get healed in a church but a hospital, but you did not even spend time seeking healing in a hospital?
I think the only difference.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Banyaji. I think the only difference is that Honorable Sam Kutesa spoke on microphone that I am doing this because this happened. I think that's what sparked off the debate. But if he had invited the president and the guests just to commission a church or something that he contributed, maybe we could be discussing something different. But what I'm saying is, first of all, it's not a responsibility of an individual to construct hospitals, roads, schools. Governments should not shy away from their own responsibilities. So that one does not make any argument that someone should think about constructing hospitals or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't hold any different opinion from any wrong opinion against Honorable Sam Kutesa. Now the issue with Honorable Sechikubo, well, this is the president visiting a district from which Remiaga County is part, and Sechikubo is the representative of that constituency. Argument for Honorable Sechikubo says, I am here and the president is here, I have gotten an opportunity to tell the president, because it does not happen regularly that the president will visit or will come again. He might actually not come again in the next 5 years. So if he's here, give me a chance to talk about the issue that affecting people of Rwemiyaga. Because in any case, Honorable Shatis Musharure was given a chance, and she told the president that they want some bridges and stuff. So that was the argument for Sechiko. But of course, we know there have been a long-standing, I think, dispute or whatever between Honorable Sam Kutesa and Sechikubo. So it was not going to happen. And then Muzei just walked away because, I don't know, he showed us that he didn't want to take sides or something, so he just walked away, and that was good of him. So let them deal with their differences. It is not even like something that we shouldn't be discussing. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Yes, Asimwe. Yes.
No,
Some Kutesa and building a church vis-a-vis a hospital, and the conduct of Theodore Sechikubo on that event.
Westgate. Let's go wrong, and let's go right. It's that simple. What am I trying to say? One, Ugandans, we have a lot of that sense of entitlement. Where we are heading soon, Banyaji, someone, your big time fan follower on your programs and everywhere, will wake up one day and tell you, Banyaji, today you should not eat chicken, you should eat fish. What Kutesa did is right. The doctors do the treatment, it's God that does the actual healing. That's one. Two, I don't see anything wrong with someone building a church. Three, it's the role of our government to put up these healthy facilities, infrastructure, schools, everything, the roads. So the person that should be castigated right now should be Sechikubo, the area MP.
There's a gentleman called Samuel Leeds who got an accident in Jinja. And to show gratitude and concern for all other victims that could face the same, built about 60 bed and more ward in a hospital in Jinja.
So
isn't that better to say thank you to God?
Banyaji, what am I trying to say? This sense of entitlement has to stop. I, for one, am not satisfied that our government is doing enough in regards to our three key sectors in Uganda: health, education, and agriculture. But I cannot be oblivious to the fact that Rome wasn't built in one day. When you look back 86, when His Excellency took over the power of this country, the kind of state that we're in as a country, the progress that we've made across board, we must give him credit. That's why I'm saying our leaders have to wake up, because there are these regional disparities in Uganda. What are some leaders doing right to lobby during the budget appropriation process and get more resources in their regions and get things done for their constituents or the people that vote for them? This nonsense and madness of cheap politicking all the time. You're the area MP. Why should you be fighting for a microphone? What kind of nonsense is there? An area MP, for heaven's sake, is not an LC1 chairperson to start telling me this is the only chance I have to talk to the president. Yesterday they had him in the caucus. Sechikubo is a member of NRM. They meet the president monthly. Sechikubo is an astute legislator, experienced with exposure. But what he was doing there, this is someone's function. He has a right to dictate who speaks and who shouldn't speak. They have a history, we all know that. But being a political season, he wanted to cause a scene, get sympathizers, sijui this and that. And here we are, discussing non-relevant issues.
Okay. Thank you. Musa Tukwatane say on what happened in Maugola.
Thank you so much. First of all, with the elder and senior leader Sam Kutesa, I want to first of all ask a question. With Sam Kutesa constructing a church in his district, Sembaburi, which law did he break? Oh, how does his constructing a church infringe on other people's rights? Because you see, one of the biggest challenges we have here is that Ugandans, we like giving ourselves exaggerated importance. Someone has gone, made his money. It is his money. The laws of Uganda are very clear.
Perhaps Mr. If it was Wakana Rugunda, who has never been implicated in any corruption scandal, perhaps Ugandans would be easy. But a person of Sam Kutesa, who's definitely, his name has been very pronounced in scandals of corruption for decades. Perhaps Ugandans could think, isn't that a benefit of the money
The
that
good,
you siphoned
the
out
good
of
thing,
government?
my brother Banyaji, we have Council Bwenje here, we have Council Banjis here. You are all scholars of law. You know, when I come here and start discussing scandals of corruption with Sam Kutesa, when there is no judgment from court and no conviction that Sam Kutesa was convicted of corruption, really I will be doing a disservice to myself and to the Ugandans listening to Cruise FM. Therefore, with corruption and Sam Kutesa, I think that should not be a discussion. Then now, I want to first of all, before I conclude on that very issue of Sam Kutesa, let Ugandans give people privacy. Sam Kutesa has used his own resources to construct a church. If Ugandans feel that it is also better for him to donate a hospital, Sam Kutesa is not a bad man. Let them approach him, request him. I know he still has resources to do such. He can still construct for them a hospital. But now going ahead to dictate on someone's money, on what he should use it for, is infringing on his right. Actually, even has the rights to sue those interfering with his privacy.
That is correct.
Then on the issue of Sechkubo, really that's what exactly I've already said. Giving ourselves exaggerated importance. Sechkubo is a member of the National Resistance Movement. He sits in the NRM caucus. Sechkubo is taken or takes himself as a vibrant MP. We always see him on the floor of parliament raising non-relevant issues with the aim of being captured on the screens. Because Sechkubo is known for 25 years, is known as a politician who has been winning through sympathy vote. He always creates scenarios, he always stage manages situations such that he can win from sympathy vote. You can see someone has organized his function. I myself has constructed a church at home. I have invited the person of the president at a personal level because it is not a national function. The president has come to commission my church, have constructed. Then you, the area member of parliament, have also invited you as a person to come. Then you reaching home, you want to dictate on what should be done on my personal function. Really, I think even Sam Kutesa has all rights to open a case on Sechkubo because Sechkubo infringed on his rights.
Okay, we're stopping for a break. When we come back, Bwenje will have his way. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We are definitely back. It's a quarter to 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. We're talking about what about you think on Sam Kutesa building a church in Maogola instead of a hospital, and the conduct of the area MP for Wemiaga, Theodore Sechkovo. And let me have Council Bwenje have his opinion said, then we move on to something else.
You see, it is very expensive to build a hospital, especially a cancer either if it is a cancer the cancer ward or hospital, but it is not expensive to build a church, because even a church can sustain itself. But to build a hospital out of your own funds and you maintain it, it is so hard. An individual cannot do so. So, and of course, I'm cognizant of the fact that in our country, the most, actually, the best built structures are churches in our communities. You don't find a school, you don't find a hospital. So I think people find it easy to build a church. Okay? And of course, as to whether he was healed by God or the church, I think that's a personal opinion of his. And I think matters of faith are personal. It is up to him to know who has saved him. Is it God? Is it the church? And so forth. So personally, I don't see anything wrong.
With what Honorable Kutesa
with
did.
him making the freedom of choice to build a church, unless the money which he used is the taxpayers' money. But if it is not, then it's up to him.
Okay.
And of course, for Sechko, I think he was wrong because it was not his function. It was not his function. I think he should not have tried to force his way to speak. So really, if it is not your function, you don't call the shots. So you are at the mercy of
the host. Musat Kwatanese, we know certainly that the principal chief bodyguard of the president of the National Unity Platform, Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu, was arrested in Mukono. The next we saw is a picture of him partially dressed on the ex-handle of the Chief of Defense Forces, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. And under it was a caption of him urinating on this bodyguard and teaching him how to speak Runyankore. We are nearing the election season, and definitely the temperatures are high, and it's all up and down with the Electoral Commission organizing these elections, the internal political elections that are happening in various political parties. And definitely we cannot sideline the effect of the Patriotic League of Uganda on the influence of these elections. What do you say about the state of affairs in as far as arresting close associates of Bobby Wine, but also the treatment of these same arrested individuals by the Chief of Defense Forces?
First of all, I want to note that...
Speak to the microphone.
I want to note that one of the biggest challenges we have is that our people, I don't know whether it is because of being ignorant of the law or negligence, because the law is very clear. The law is, we are guided by the Constitution of Uganda, which is supreme and which is very clear. If you look at our Constitution, Article 98 talks about the person of the president, who the president should be, and how the president should lead the country. So, being the president, the fountain of honor, and the commander-in-chief, then tomorrow you hear a certain military group, because we've seen it. I would request if my brother on the camera, if he had it in his records, he would put it. We have seen a group of NUP members holding parades, saluting the president, that they are giving a guard of honor to the person they claim to be the president. And they even go ahead to call him the president of the Republic of Uganda. Yet, Uganda as a state has the official elected president who was elected and sworn in 2021 by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 98, puts it clear that he is the commander-in-chief and the fountain of honor. So, this group, a military group of NUP, actually I always term them as hooligans because they are being misused. Holding a parade itself is criminal and contradicts with Article 98 of our Constitution. In fact,
Are we talking of a parade or the detention of
We are talking about.
I am showing you how the detention came
I-
about.
I am thinking. Yes.
I'm showing you how the detention came about.
But where was this gentleman? Was not part of that parade.
Here comes. Let me.
No, yes.
I am putting everything clear.
But
here
you see-
comes the situation
Yes.
where this very person, Ed Mutwe, claims to be the chief bodyguard of the person who was saluted and given a guard of honor as a president.
Does that legitimize?
He even goes on his X handle, Ed Mutwe. He even goes on his X handle. I want Genje, you always come here with information.
First relax,
Come here
Bwenje.
with information because always you are always you.
is that why he was arrested?
Actually, you are becoming an aimless reactionary political actor.
Bwenje,
Ed
Bwenje, have
Mutwe
order.
came here. Raza went on his X handle and rallied for protest vote. That's number one. Number two, rallied.
What is wrong with the rally?
And two,
what
I
is
am
wrong
showing
with the
you.
protest vote?
No, I'm showing you the tweet. He rallied for protest vote. That is number two. Number two, he has been rallying for Ugandans to stand out and protest.
So what is wrong with
Now, first of all, are you aware that rallying Ugandans to protest interferes with our laws?
Are you reading the charge sheet
No,
somewhere?
I'm showing you.
Don't fight with the microphone.
No, I am showing you how his arrest has come about.
But do you have a charge sheet?
Two.
Where you're reading from,
Number
or you're just
two.
sharing an opinion?
No, I am showing you because very soon, the man will be presented to court, and of course cases
How
will
soon?
come.
How soon? How soon?
And so,
okay, thank
and
you.
so,
They don't talk about
I
for
want
the
to
year, for the
conclude.
8 years. How
No,
soon?
they have eaten my
Can I
time.
have order?
I want to conclude.
Yes.
This Ed Mutwe man, first of all, he's in detention, and I want to appreciate the CDF for
Which
coming out
detention is he?
clearly
Where?
to inform the public that the man is in custody.
Okay,
that
thank
means
you.
he's safe.
Let me have a sim before I have Apollo. In the a sim, I don't know when you saw the picture of this gentleman that is a father to a family and half naked, literally, and with a caption of "I'm teaching him how to speak Runyankore, urinating on him, and I'm about to capture Kabobi. I'm going to beat him." And are these necessary of a leader in the CDF's capacity?
Thank you, Westgate. I know that tempers are high, but I always prefer us to keep it civil because the people out there might not be impressed by our conduct. And luckily enough, Westgate is one of the most professional moderators that we have around town. He gives us time, each one of us. So let us always wait for our time to react back to the topic. Westgate, there is always a genesis of each and everything. Why is it that it's Eddie Mutwe, not Westgate, not Vanjizi, not
Well, I'm not an associate of Chaguran.
not the Peter Mpaka or other actors? You see, I always tell people, Uganda is not a failed state and it's not about to. You can play your opposition politics within the confines of the law. Short of that, the security agencies will handle and take charge and show you that Uganda is not a failed state. And when they do, stop crying like babies. I've not seen any senior opposition leader operating within the confines of law being subjected to this kind of treatment.
What
That's one.
offense?
Two.
You were a lawyer, Bandis.
Yes, I
what
am.
offense has
I am.
has
Two.
Eddie Mutwe done?
We have several opposition parties in Uganda.
No,
Look,
you know the procedure in handling suspects.
Yes.
What offense has Eddie Mutwe committed?
That's just a picture. What evidence do you have that it?
Does the
that
CDF
it-
have right to confine
No.
him under a basement and undress
Listen,
him
it
and
be-
take pictures of a suspect?
That's just a mere picture. It could be AI generated. I don't have proof that it
on,
happened in real time.
on the page and the timeline of the Chief of Defense Forces?
If you've been following him keenly, he has that other side of his fun, cracking jokes. Not everything that
so that's
he
a
tweets.
joke?
Not everything that he tweets happens. That's one. Two, to set the record straight, the CDF at one time came out and said, my tweets are never official. The only thing that is official and on record, I always sign, stamp by the position that I'm currently
Asimwe
occupying.
Bandizi, there is a picture of a suspect
Yes.
in the names of Edward Sebonfu on the
Yes.
timeline of the Chief of Defense Forces.
Mm.
And with a caption, I'm urinating on him and teaching him Rinyankore. On the timeline of the Chief of Defense
So
Forces.
let me ask you,
Is
how
this a
many
joke?
cartoons has Jimmy Spears drawn of the person of the president? Even this week, there is one that is trending. So
Let's link up in the second hour of the show. Don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great.
Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, we are back. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, good friends. I have a big seater, Clifton Manyero Mushuni. Yes, you're there. And he sent me a message and he says he has a friend of his that is a Rotarian. He's called Dr. Mwebesa. Got an accident, and after fighting, during the Thanksgiving, he decided to construct a health center, and in it he put 100 mattresses, and the facility is up in Kasana Shema, and he donated it to Western Ankole Diocese. I think Sam Kutesa should have done the same. I want to thank you, Clifton, for being an ardent contributor of the big set. I have a gentleman, a lawyer at LDC called Chris. Chris, I know you're listening in to the big seat. I want to appreciate you so much. Let me get to a man who has been restless. Bwenje. Yes.
At the start of the show, I stated how uncomfortable I am with me and my children and my grandchildren living in the same country as Mhozi. Because it is so unpredictable. You can be shot at any time because you are not a member of a particular dynasty. You see, to confine a human being in a basement without any offense, when the basement is not a gazetted detention facility under the Constitution, and you urinate on him under the pretext of teaching him a language which is not a national language, it is unacceptable in this day and age. And I hear the members of the NRM here talk about peace, security, human rights, that we fought and so forth. That is bogus. Because if you fought, you should defend what you fought for. But in this era and age, to find one human being is above the law. And see, we know that under Article 24 of our Constitution, torture is not acceptable under any conditions. There's no exception under which you can torture a human being. And a person is so free to say, I have him here, he's in the basement, I'm urinating on him, or someone else is urinating on him, I'm teaching him a specific language, as if it is an offense in Uganda not to know Runyankore. And I want to beg the people who don't speak uh, the language of the Abanyankore that what Mohoz is doing is not a representation of all of us here. And I actually I feel so dumbfounded when the members of the NRM here actually in his support. If it was their son, would they say the same words that they are speaking here now? Okay, remember, Eddie Mutwe, actually, even if he didn't have a family, even if he was a vagabond and so forth, but he's a human being. And my friend here is talking about the platoons, the
parades.
The parades. That is, in law, we call that evidence from the bar. He's just trying to actually, he's on a fishing expedition. He doesn't know why the man is there.
He's firefighting.
He's just firefighting. He's trying to defend the indefensible. But when we come on a show as big as the instant one, we owe it to the viewers that we should come and speak with facts, but above all, as human beings. Tomorrow is me, today is you. Today is me, tomorrow is you. What is being done? I think every one of us, you owe it to yourself to condemn it in the strongest terms that you can, because it has no space in any democratic state.
Okay.
You cannot confine me and then you actually you undress me, you even post me on social media as if I'm not a human being.
Okay.
So I beg the UPDF to have the actually to come to its senses and have the nerve to summon the CDF, because the CDF under the law is not above the UPDF. Okay?
Okay.
But what is now here is that even the commander-in-chief is a captive. Museveni is a captive of his own son, and we should not accept it.
Okay,
because
thank you.
If you are the commander-in-chief and you do not have a stronghold of the CDF, then it means that anytime we are going to have a coup, because you are not in the control of things. If Museveni is not in the control of things, he should speak, and he resigns.
Okay. Muvunya, historically, we know who General Museveni is. There are things that you would never speak in General Museveni's government and see the light of day. You would be put in a safe house or dealt with. Things of sectarianism are unheard of in Museveni's era because he knows how dangerous that line is. Muhoozi posts about Tutsi and Hutus. He posts about Himas. He name calls other ethnic groups in our country. He now says that he's urinating on a Muganda man under his basement. The president looks like his hands are tied. There's a video that is viral right now of the president in 86, where he said, if you have a son, even if he's 12 years, you only gave birth to this boy. You have no control of what he does. And you wish he would do different, but what do you do as a parent? Muvunya, is the state and General Museveni in particular caught in a catch-22 of dealing with an indisciplined individual of a son who has lost the ability to contain himself as a CDF?
No, you see, there are a lot of science here. I can see a lot of exaggeration.
Let's give Muvunya.
Because now, you see what is happening here between Eddie Mutwe and the CDF. These are small things. And anyway, what is the problem of running Runyankore? No, what is the problem? We have been learning Luganda for very many years. Some of us cannot speak it for an hour before committing mistakes.
Yes.
But there's no problem. Learning a language that you need to speak, is there any problem? I don't see any problem teaching Eddie Mutwe Runyankole. Now look,
Are you serious?
what is the problem?
Are you hearing yourself?
No, what is the problem?
Yes, you see,
by
there's
learning
nothing wrong.
learning Runyankole?
Let's have more.
What's the problem? Eddie Mutwe learning Runyankole. We speak Ruganda. Are we Baganda? So he's not teaching him by force. He says he's learning. He's learning Runyankole. He has bought dictionaries for him, and he's there because he says he's with him. Number two, we have official communication, the government communication.
And Muvunya is saying these things with very dry eyes. Yes.
Don't exaggerate things, because when you exaggerate, you put a country at Tantahook. Let's talk exactly what is happening. Anyway, what is Eddie Mutwe? Eddie Mutwe,
No.
Eddie Mutwe is a human being. Yes, he's a Ugandan like me and you. Today, if you committed a case and you are arrested here from the studio, before we argue and make a noise, we must understand what have you done. We have a younger boy, is called Bobby Young. Bobby Young comes from Kamwenge. He's a Muchiga. He was arrested 2 years back. He has been in Kitaria. I have never heard Bobo Wayne speaking about him.
That is not correct. Bobby Young actually has branded shirts of him and
But
those.
I've never had those are his supporters. I have seen borders, younger borders. You may find those younger border men come from Kamweng. But I've never heard Bob Wayne talking about Bobby Young. So why? What is big in Eddie Mutwe? Why is Bob Wayne and other people are here talking about Eddie Mutwe, like another person, even the BBC? Why? But Bob Young is here.
So why?
We have other young boys who were arrested very many years ago, but they have left there in detention. NUP is not profiling a lot of history about them than Mutwe. Now you can see that what Bob Wayne talked recently, that even in Uganda that supports NRM is an idiot. I can confirm now. It is real. It is meant. It is in their plan. They are very busy trying to create in the rural politics. They are planning to make tribal politics, where a Muganda should hate a Munyankore, where a Munyankore should hate a Muganda.
Just a minute, just in a second.
Speak to the microphone, sir.
To give you a supplement. In General Hoskin Gaba's tweets, after all that, he followed a tweet and said that Bob Wine and his people must understand that Uganda is bigger than Uganda.
True.
That thing of spreading sectarian statements.
Absolutely. And in fact,
stop.
I want to tell you,
What is he doing?
Mr.
What is
Moderator.
he? You see?
I want to tell Mr. Moderator
See.
that the laws,
You
that
wait.
governs the party. You wait. NUP is going to be disbanded by electoral commission.
Why? Why?
It is committing cases.
No.
Tribal
The
statements,
The statements of
are
Bob
supposed to be
Wine are
controlled.
not statements of NUP.
Thank you. Apollo to Musime. Eddie Mutwe and the CDF.
You see, Banyaji, the studio has created some other mood, especially after listening to Kwatanise Musa and Katamba Muvunya speaking about visibly human rights violations, making it so casual, as if they don't have any feeling of a human being. In 1944, in the US, the members of the Congress introduced an amendment in their constitution to allow presidential term limits in the United States. And this was because by then the president, Franklin Roosevelt, had led the country for unprecedented 4 terms. I think about 12 years, winning massively, by the way, but they thought about that when you become a president, even if you're winning every term with 100%, actually with 90%, there will reach a time where you become too powerful that you cannot control your feelings for power, that you will undermine checks and balances, that you undermine the law, the constitution, and the institutions of the country. the people of the US are not alone, but also the Odoch Commission here in Uganda and other Ugandans thought about the same way. And then when they were
Just some
excuse me,
No. Mkwatanisi, please.
Excuse me. The Ugandans, when they were making when they are making the constitution in 1995, also included this clause of presidential term limits, that they have to be 2 terms, so that we avoid such things that we are seeing now. And what happened in the 7th Parliament, President Museveni allegedly bribed members of Parliament with 5 million and amended that clause and removed it from the constitution, so that he can rule for all the time he wants. What we are seeing now, when Musa comes here and quotes Article 98 of the Constitution, what it says, and talks about the members of National Unity Platform breaking the law, when the Chief of Defense Forces, who is supposed to also to be guided by the Constitution, the UPDF Act, which is an establishment of the Act of Parliament, breaks the law during the day. He has been everywhere telling us how he wants President Museveni to get 80%, and yet we know President Museveni is going to contest with other people, and which we think by his position of the CDF, in case any other person, let's say Katumba John, wins President Museveni, the CDF is supposed to salute that person if he has not been changed. But this is someone who says that President Museveni should get 80%. Now, other than that, we have been talking about the sectarian statements being mentioned everywhere. We know how President Museveni has been sound and vocal on this, and we know what it means by someone going sectarian. But because General Kainerugaba feels the power, because he's the son of the president, he feels so untouchable, he feels he's above the law. The other side is said he cannot appear before the parliament. They actually clones. This is the parliament that introduced the UPDF Act under which he is serving, but he undermines those institutions because his father has led this country for 40 years, 40 damn years, and he's still adding more, and the son is being prepared to come and succeed him and also lead the country for quite a number of years. He doesn't. So Ugandans are being taken for granted. So when we see the law is being broken openly during the day, and Kwatanise Musa here is not feeling anything like that, it's going to, yes, even Muvunya here, we are getting into a situation that we will not be able to control. How dare you speak that someone has to be forced to speak in Nyankore after urinating on him? I think the next 1 month or 2 I should abandon my language actually, because now what is the essence of speaking in Nyankore now? I should not even be.
But you have been speaking
excuse me, I should not. Yes, me.
But you're using English. That was. It's a language we got from people that enslaved and brutally mistreated our great grandfathers. Let's stop being hypocrites.
I understand. But this is not.
But that's a very formidable statement by Asime Bandizi. If the English that we actually very proud of speaking was used to torment our forefathers, then we should have abandoned it. Isn't it a hypocritical view, Mr. Apollo Msime?
Well, what I'm saying is, okay, cancel.
Apollo has been caught off guard.
You see, it is not the fault of the language per se. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with speaking Uganda or Nyankore. And we should be proud of that. Okay? And we should also be proud of speaking the English of the white person. But the people who are forcing us to speak that language are the people who are doing bad. Okay? You cannot force me to speak a language I don't want. Or what shows that Eddie Mutwe does not know Nyankore?
Yes. Yes, it's
conclude.
Fine, let me conclude. It's good to speak quite a number of languages.
But let's not trivialize the debate.
Yeah, it's fine, because I've been here. It's fine. No, it's fine.
related to language.
No, it's fine.
First statement.
No, it's fine. I have been here. I have
But
moved
let
to.
Apollo submit on a
Yes.
Let me.
Conclude.
Yes,
Conclude,
yes. I
Asim.
have moved in most regions of Uganda. For example, I can speak even languages in the east. I can speak Japadola. I can speak Lugiswa. I can speak Chinyarwanda. I know all those languages, but no one has ever forced me to speak those languages when I am being tortured or forced. What I'm saying is, in the previous election, and I think this was also the topic, towards the election 2021, 40 members of NUP were arrested and put in detention, appeared in a military court. The charges were mentioned, of course, that include treason and treachery and that kind of stuff. Later on, some came to plead guilty and asked for amnesty, but others who never asked for amnesty are still in prison. 4 years now, actually 5 years, they have not been committed. Even after the Supreme Court ruling, their files have not been transferred to the High Court, to the Civil Court.
Okay.
And we are likely to see the same thing with Ed Mutwe now. He's going to be there, he's going to be kept in detention.
Thank you, Apollo.
And that's worrying. Yeah.
Now, in a minute, I wanted, since it was an inquiry and now he's off air, I want to guide
Please.
that America, he used an example of America introducing term limits in 1940 something, 44. I want to guide him that at the level when America was introducing term limits, America was already in the middle income status. Actually, when it was developing, it had even a section of dictatorship, because you cannot develop a country just on just mere democracy.
Okay, thank you. Asim,
Westgate.
I want us to conclude on this and we move on to something
I
else.
don't want us to mix issues, especially on a national program. My prayer is just simple. Let's guide our listeners and all Ugandans out there. Anything to do with sectarianism should not be supported, because Uganda, we have over 50 different ethnic groupings.
Okay. Thank you.
Over 50 languages. The key issue here should be we are Ugandans, number one. These other things are secondary. And it's a pity the way you, the fourth estate, this one I will blame you guys in media, the fourth estate. When NRM does something small, someone affiliated to NRM, you amplify it, exaggerate it, the way my brother Mugumia is saying. But when the opposition guys make reckless statements or make comments that would incite the populace against this government, the peace we have, the security, the tranquility, you lie low like envelopes.
Okay.
The statement that was made by Bobby Wine, I've not heard you guys
Condemn it.
condemn it. It has not been brought here on the big seat to try and dissect it and see the pros and cons of such a national leader. And I give credit to Buganda. Mengo, Burangi, the Katikiro was right to come out and dissociate himself from those reckless statements. Because Bobby Wine, if he genuinely wants to lead Uganda, he must bring us on board. All of us. The way His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni during the Bush War days brought everyone on board. And that's the reason it's on record he never condones such, those sectarian statements. That's the reason as to why we are in an electioneering season. I beg whoever has the intentions of being a leader or is a leader or aspiring to be one.
Okay, thank you.
Let's not divide Ugandans along religious groupings, ethnicity, tribal, nepotism. Let's rise above that as a nation.
Thank you. Moving on.
You know, the government cannot sit and see things happening and keep square. Eddie Mutwe is not above the law. He's a Ugandan like any other person. From what I see, recently I saw a picture of his house that he's constructing. He's constructing a house in billions. No. We must also.
But this is a private citizen.
We must also understand the source of money of Eddie Mutwe. Yes, government must be interested. Government must be interested on the sources of Ugandans. Yes, because
He's not
the
in
money,
the public service.
the money may be acquired wrongly. So we also need to know.
Bring evidence.
If,
Bring
if,
evidence.
if your job, if your job,
so
Bring
must,
evidence.
must
You
into
see?
the same Ugandans
If you are
question.
job-
That's resources of Honorable Sam Kutesa for construction of
And Mhozo
water.
also. And
of
Mhozo.
course, we must weigh in the business that some place has ever done.
Muvunya.
No, I may have.
Muvunya.
No,
So-
me-
sometimes
I am a businessman. I am
but
a
you
strong
see,
businessman.
Let's talk
Muvunya.
about-
Even when I'm supposed to be a neutral arbiter here, there are times when you go overboard. These are things that all of us as Ugandans must be able to
and
see.
by the
You
way,
see,
let me tell
He's
you,
making those
government-
statements
Eh.
to
government-
defend the fact that
No,
that what at Nankedi Mutwe is in someone's basement.
no, he
Just
has.
because
Are you defending these things?
Yes.
No, I'm not defending. I am
Okay,
talking facts.
Okay, can you
Ah,
now
that's not the
rebuke
fact.
them? Can you rebuke these?
I am saying, I can again say.
Okay,
Yes.
can you call out the CDF
yes,
for his
It
violation
is
of
very
the
bad.
law?
It is very bad
to do what?
to arrest a person and mistreat him when you are a security officer. I condone it. But now,
You condemn it?
yes,
Yes.
but now there is another factor that
Now you see
the
there's a
role,
but.
the role of a security officer is to keep law and order. And by the way, let me tell you, a government must protect
Actually-
itself.
Actually,
You see-
now
No, listen,
supplement some supplement.
Come on.
listen. You see, let's agree that the government must keep law and order. And you know, we have been frustrated by the Western world. That's the lot of money is coming here. That is the money that is funding the Eddie Mutwe to be bodyguard. Why do you call yourself a bodyguard? No, those are military terms.
No,
Those are military terms. And let me
Pastor
tell you,
Kanja,
when you behave
no,
militarily,
no,
you will be handled militarily.
No. Pastor Kanja
I
has
think
several
that-
bodyguards.
I think that's
Why
a-
isn't he?
I think that is a good catch from Muvunya. He says,
why?
Why are you acting militarily?
No.
Why do you have a bodyguard?
Oh.
What do you have a
If you
bodyguard? Who
conduct
are you?
yourself as
No,
military.
that's
You
being
have
petty.
military.
yes.
That's being petty.
Okay, I think
Pastor Kayanja here has a bodyguard. Who Bisaka has a bodyguard.
Okay.
Why aren't you condemning
let me
them?
put a more relevant matter to you.
The
NUP.
the statement of who
Bobby Wine
Yes.
calling out
Yes,
people of
I think that
Buganda.
was reckless and unacceptable.
Okay.
Because Muganda has every right to support Munyankore
Mm.
and also to support the NRM.
Okay.
So I think he said it in anger.
Mm.
But we should all, as human beings who are not animals, we have the ability to control our anger.
Okay. Now the anger is in the NUP, and it is given its members of parliament, about 6 of them, a 30-day ultimatum. You either apologize, seek reconciliation of the party, or be forced out. Bwenje, what do you think of that?
I heard the statements of the deputy president, that is Mwanga
Chivumbi.
Chivumbi. In his statements, he has already convicted them because he said that actually they should come and apologize. An apology comes after a conviction. And we have not seen any summons to those MPs. And you see, an MP is a very important person. If you think she or he has done a wrong thing, write to him or her. But you don't go on the social media and then say, I've given you a week, 60 days, 30 days. You don't run a political party as a heart or as a... A political party is a national institution. It must have structures. You must put in place structures for a fair trial of a person. Okay? And up to now, I don't know what they did wrong. And I don't think even those MPs know what wrong they did. So I think the NUP is being so can I say, actually so informal. And I think so informal and amateurish. Okay, they should inform them that you have broken this particular provision of the constitution of the NUP, and we want you to appear before a disciplinary committee before the 16th day of the month and so forth. But you don't expect a person to apologize when they don't know what wrong they have done. So I invite the NUP as the leading opposition party to be an example. Okay, you don't run a party as if it was it is your money pass
Okay.
that you can choose. So we expect better from them, and what they are doing, I think, is not representative of what a major opposition political party has to do.
Okay,
They
thank
should
you.
do more.
Okay, thank you. I have Council Honoratum Hangzi, who is listening to the big seat. Thank you, Council. Our big seater there. And I have a gentleman called Alvin, who is in Kampala. You're also catching the show. I want to appreciate him. Katamamufunya. Years ago, there were 5 or 4 members of parliament in Theodore Chechkubo, Barnabas Tinkasimede, Mohamed Sereko, the rebel MPs, quote unquote. The NRM wanted to force them out of the party to one extent that a petition was made before court to have them lose their positions as members of parliament on the NRM ticket because of their conduct. Only overturned by court and definitely disallowed by the Speaker of Parliament. But definitely it didn't augur well the position of the party. Here is NUP giving rebel MPs, quote unquote, a 30-day ultimatum. You either come and seek for forgiveness or we push you out of the party. Isn't that relatable to you as a party?
We have a program of winning Kampala back to NRM, and that exercise is already finished. Those are scale crews of Honorable Chivumbi. Buganda, yes. Buganda. So that is the words of Chivumbi. He's, of course, number one, he's scared. NUP has reduced to a certain percent. The MP it had in this parliament is not the same MP that are going to come in 2026. We have already captured almost half of Uganda is already captured by NRM, because our program as a party of winning Kampala back to NRM is ongoing. So it is not their wish. The words of Chivumbi is not himself. He has already seen it, that he's losing Uganda again to NRM like it was at first. So what is happening is that there is no member of parliament who wishes to get out of parliament. So it is not, it is because the pressure from the people, from the population. Let me tell you something. When you go to a district like Mitiana now,
where there is the Honorable Nabakova.
Bagala of
NUP.
And Zake of NUP.
Yes.
Today, if you went to Mitiana now, Honorable Nabakova is coming back as a women member of parliament for Mitiana district. Why? Because they have now seen the lies of NUP, and the people are coming back at their roots. Number one, the services. They expected the words of Bob Wine when he would go for campaigns that are going to chase away Museveni, and with no reason, no giving reason. The only slogan they are using is chasing away Museveni. But what do people really want from the government? Number one is services. Number two is credibility, seeing credibility of their leaders, giving services of what they promised. NUP in Mitiana has done zero. And so now, when these MPs face challenges from their constituencies, of course they behave differently. And when they behave differently, for NUP, Chivumbi and Bob Wine call them rebel MPs. But things are not easy for them. They are losing. And when they tell them, of course Chagulanyi and the few people besides him will never agree that they are losing the empire. So for that matter, the Chivumbi words are just words, not making any impact. I know by August, Buganda will be back on their roots.
Okay. Musa Tukwatanese, is NUP losing ground? That this is literally internal tension between the party, within the party, where some individuals think the party perhaps is not going the right direction and they've dissented, and the party is only fighting back. We have a member of parliament for Kawempe South who has never said a single word in parliament. He has never associated with any activities of the party. All that he has is being a card-bearing member of that party. Is it right that the party moves in to, one, set discipline and order within the party. Isn't this something that you associate with?
First of all, it is a question of leadership within the party that we see what is happening within NUP. Because NUP, if it was a party that was ready to learn, has a mother here, NRM, which NUP would benchmark from and at least learn something. Led by the revolutionary His Excellency Museveni, I can't say that whatever has been happening in NRM has been peaceful. Actually, I have always said it and I'm repeating it here, that if there is any party that has always had internal fights and internal fight for supremacy, greed, and power, it is NRM. But what happens is that the topmost leader, President Museveni, is always there to guide, is always there to condense the pressure. And that's why before it bursts to the public, he's always very, very, very strategic to come in and say, please, here and there, you are all my sons, you are all my daughters, please go through here, do this. And in the long run, NRM has been here for 40 years and is going forward. But when you see NUP here, NUP, every person of NUP, right from the mobilizers and foot soldiers, have the question of their topmost leader. The way he lives his reckless life, the way he makes his funny statements in public, it brings the question of leadership. Now, an MP at the level of an intellectual and a legislator and a lawmaking person, following a person who is just there living reckless life and making reckless statements that in the long run damage my candidature, I rather detach myself from the party for the sake of winning. You know, this majority of the people in 2021 went to NUP because we accept that NUP came as a wave. It had no basement, it had no roots. It was just a wave. And because people knew that the only password to go through in Uganda was to associate with the NUP, majority of these MPs, that's how they came to parliament. But after reaching parliament, instead of Bob Wine using that as an advantage and strategizing now to consolidate his support and make sure now the party is extended into the other regions of Uganda, he started being tribalistic and concentrating on in Uganda and even spreading hate statements, hate speech, which majority of the MPs have seen is greatly affecting their candidature in 2026. That's why even if Chivumbi calls them that they apologize, I am very sure that majority of them are not going to apologize because they know they rather run as independent candidates than associating with the NUP, which they are already sure that even if you run for NUP card, you are not going to win because the wave is no longer there. People have seen Bob Wine, people have learned Bob Wine, and the expectations have not been met. I have several times actually in a week. I'm always in Central for actually much of my time. I always spend it in Central. But when you try to hear people's statements, really people's expectations were too high in Bob Wine. But when you come to reality, people have realized the person is in his own katemba as people take him serious. And so for that matter, therefore, I even don't expect those MPs to apologize. And it is now open at all people out there, Ugandans, who are expecting much in NUP. This should open our eyes and show us that where we are heading, it is only the NRM party flourishing, and we all subscribe to NRM and rally behind the candidate that will win, and we move the country forward as we prepare for a peaceful and smooth transition. I thank you.
Okay. Tumusim. See, I mean, Asim Webandizi. Yes. On what you think about the expulsion of these members of parliament from the NUP for all they don't seek forgiveness and reconciliation therein.
You see, it's quite absurd at the level of national vice chairman of a party thinking he will treat his colleagues in parliament like his children. And it comes back to one thing. What kind of leaders are we voting? What kind of leaders are we nurturing? What kind of leaders are being groomed mentored in these parties. To me, as NRM, it's a double-edged sword. One side, I'm happy when our strongest challenger is becoming weak and weak by the day and exposing themselves because of their inefficiencies, incompetence, amateurish acts. There are better ways and avenues of addressing such small internal issues. But it comes back to a question of leadership and greed. We all know the arrangements in NUP. How much money is paid to the party coffers, how much money is paid to the party president, how much money goes to the wife, this and that. It's a question of interest, it's a question of greed, it's a question of embagana. Whoever tried, because now they are feeling the heat in Uganda. They thought,
I think that is a very scandalous statement.
No, and I
Yeah,
cannot withdraw it.
no. I want
Benji,
him
me.
to tell the people of Uganda how much the wife of the president of NUP gets as a share. If he doesn't know the actual amount, then he should recant
Benji,
his statement. Because
I'm
we come here to
I'm
talk.
entitled to my opinion.
But your opinion should not
Yeah,
be
it-
tainted by allegations
Yes,
and,
it must
and
be
grapevine
factual.
and Wolokoso.
And if it's grapevine, you have a right of taking me to court.
No,
We
it's not
produce,
about court.
we produce
It's not about
evidence. Let me submit. So, it's quite absurd because there is a precedent. Court came out and made a pronouncement in regards to us NRM when we wanted to chase away the so-called rebel MPs. And I loved it when the judiciary made that statement. Because even internally, we must respect those dissenting views and voices. Because we cannot always agree from January to December. Because internally, we need bold leaders that will keep our party chairpersons, party presidents, those roles of checks and balances. But if you only have a rubber stamp, top most leadership of a party, that party is no more. So what NUP is doing, they are feeling the pressure. We have a deliberate program as NRM to reclaim our lost glory in Uganda.
Point of
And that
information.
program is service
Some
centered,
point of
it
information.
is pro people. So Chivumbi and Bobby Wine are feeling the heat. And the party is just starting.
Okay. Tumusive.
Yes.
Yes, okay, give us that information.
The Supreme Court, it never stated that a party cannot expel a member.
What did it say?
It says that if a member is going to lose his or her seat in parliament, the member must have left the party on his or her own motion.
Yes. Tsime.
Yes. I think the political parties are also guided by their party constitutions. When I was going to hold flag for Ant in Nyarusha's constituency in the last elections, we had the memorandum that we signed with the party. In case you win, there are some obligations you have to meet, this and that. And I penned my signature because I was in agreement with what the party was proposing. So I think also NUP, in its constitution, they have a way in which they are supposed to compel their members either to attend some party activities or and pay some money, of course, and do all the obligations they want. So what we are discussing here, it is also an opinion. We don't know actually if any of those members of parliament that have been mentioned broken one of the procedures or any clause of the agreement they had with the party. And that's also the argument of the honorables Joyce Bagala and like they are saying, where did we fail? Let the party come out and explain to us that you were supposed to do this and you did not do that. And that's what I want the leadership of NUP to explain to the public, that these people you see here, they were supposed to do this and they did not do that. Now, the another challenge they have at the NUP is the nature of their primary elections. Because it is more of selection and then they are saying, of course, and then they are saying that because they want to squeeze these members of parliament when they come to seek for the flag. So and it's going to be frustrating because there is no let me say, transparent process of how their internal primary elections are done. That's why NUP is holding these people at ransom to apologize. And of course, those who really need the card, because they think it will help them win, they will come out to maybe to do the apology that Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi was talking about. But of course, on a larger nutshell, we are facing challenges within the political parties themselves. Of course, you've seen what's happening at the DP, those the honorables, this one Seba Mala, they're on the other side, and then some people on the other side. You don't know whether there is DP or, of course, Mao took it to bed with President Museveni. That's the same thing that is happening at UPC. You've seen what's happening within NRM itself. Actually, there was a time when there was a tension between the secretariat, Todwong, and then the ONC. This Hajat, I have forgotten her name. The chairperson of ONC. Yes, not Aisha. Namyaro. Yes, who was heading that. Then there is also. Okay, then there is also Honorable Seni who heads the mobilization at Secretariat. So there's always a fracas between the Secretariat and then ONC and stuff. And then you have seen the FDC, the party is not there actually, literally. So we have challenges internally as political parties, and it's in the best interest of those parties to sit and organize themselves ahead of this election. Otherwise, the NRM is going to benefit from us.
Let's stop for a very short break. When we come back into the feedback on your social media handles, we shall be able to read some of the messages, and the numbers will be opened so that you call in and contribute to the topic. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great.
The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
All right, on the final lap of the show, thank you so much for those that have been holding us down from where we started up to where we are. Thank you for the contribution and the messages. I have a message from the former president of Bishop Stewart University, Best Arnold Ankunda. You're saying, how can NUP leaders deliver when Parliament is captive of Museveni's agenda? It's disheartening to see MPs peddling their manifestos while Museveni pulls the strings. To me, I see change seems impossible under this game. You're listening again from Ruby Corner. Thank you so much, Best Arnold, for contributing to the show. I have people that are watching on Cruise TV. Molangu Sunday, who is saying, I think the PLE gentleman has nothing to say defending Museveni's family, even if he knows what they did is wrong. You're in Kamatarisi. I have Anthony, who also is listening to the show, and you're saying you always love the Big Seat, and you always love how those did it Bwenje submits. Then on Facebook, Arnold Muramazi, I failed to read the name, Murumanzi, I beg your pardon. You're saying, however much I am in opposition, the electorates matter more than the party, should focus more on service delivery than pulling sides. Thank you, Romanzi. Tsime Arnold, you're saying You're saying NUP leadership will end up with bad failures among themselves, and Museveni will solve them one by one. Nwajara David, you're saying ultimately the move of suspending these MPs will succeed depends on NUP's ability to manage the fallout. If it consolidates support without significant defections, could strengthen the party. But if it triggers a broader exodus or public backlash, it could be horrible, and chances in the 2026 election it could be counterproductive. You're listening in from Mongari or in Kazo. Then I have Waswa Rogers. You're saying thank you to the panelists. Unfolded abductions and torture of innocent Ugandans with all the dignitaries, including the so-called oil lawyers. Well, we see you. Felix Feli, I see you're saying when we are discussing about your topic, please tell the country that NUP members are abducted. You're in Lukaya Masaka. Thank you, everyone that has been catching the show. Let me pick 1-2 calls before we call it a wrap. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and get right onto the topic of discussion. On X, I see a couple of people that have sent in the messages, and I will start with Greenwood Shaggy, who is saying, but did Mohozi Kainerugaba created this world? Tell that man in studio who said that NUP are hooligans. He's also a hooligan. And Orisha Marcel, big time contributor, you're saying NUP is right. We see some opposition MPs signaling themselves with the regime. Bena, you're saying I totally contradict with the panelists who say that it's fine for Eddie Mutwe to run Runyankore. Bena, thank you. Edson, thank you. Kusasira, I see you. Brave, you're saying for sure we should know that Uganda is bigger than Bobby Wine and Mohozi Kainerugaba. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning, Cruz FM.
Yes, good morning. What's your name? Oh, we just lost you. On 0752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Those are the two numbers that can be able to call in and be a part of the show. Good morning. Hello, caller. Ivan, turn down the volume of your radio.
Yeah, it's off.
Yes.
This is Ivan from Isingiro. I would like to talk about the scandal of, to talk about the Sam Kutesa church, then Eddie Mutwe and Mohozi. First, for Sam Kutesa, people are complaining because he was in a scandal of the UN scandal. Eddie Mutwe, it was wrong for Mohozi to say Banyankole because he doesn't speak for all Banyankole. And for the facts about Muvule's facts are wrong. If we are creating tribalism, and as Banyankole, we distance ourselves from people like Muvule because of their statements. Thank you very much.
All right, I appreciate you. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The last call for the morning before you call it a wrap. But I want to appreciate every person that has contributed to the show. The big set. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Cruz FM.
Yes, sir. What's your name and where you calling from?
We are talking to me in Wasingara Prosper from Kasoni Churugura.
Yeah.
But those guys are creating tribalism.
Okay. Let's conclude your parting shot, Musat Kwatanse. In a second.
My parting shot in a second. I have loved someone who has said that we have to know that Uganda is bigger than Bob Wine, Uganda is bigger than Mohozi, Uganda is bigger than Museveni.
Okay.
I encourage all patriots out there to put Uganda first ahead of anything else. Thank you.
Apollo Tumsime, your parting shot.
Musa Tukwatanese in opening remarks talked about the parade of NUP, and when they were paying the guard of honor to His Excellency, I don't know, to Bob Wine, I think the first person to be arrested was Bob Wine, because Bob Wine also puts on red beret, which is a case, by the way, now. Putting on a red beret, it is I think the apparatus of the military stores or something like that. So I want to challenge the government and the CDF to arrest Chagulanyi, Sentam Robert, Bobi Wine, if they don't fear him anyway? Because the last time they touched him, we lost 52 people here in Uganda. So it looks like they fear him and they only want to cut his roots, but he is their commander. Let him be arrested and also arraigned in court.
Thank you. Simevan, this is your parting shot.
Thank you, Westgate. Bottom line, we must appreciate the fact that Uganda is bigger than us all. We found it here. We have to play our part during our stay here, and we must accept that we shall leave it behind. But the question should be, shall we leave behind a better Uganda for our children and the children of our children?
Thank you. Deus Dedit Bwenje, your parting shot. Speak to the microphone, sir.
The Uganda Human Rights Commission has ordered the CDF to immediately and forthwith release Edward Rogers Sebufu as of yesterday, the 2nd of May. So I want to inform the CDF that he has no option. So he must abide by the order, or else he's going to be held in contempt of the order of the Uganda Human Rights Commission.
Okay, thank you. Katamba Muvunya, your parting shot.
I want to appeal to everybody that the government will not leave the opposition members to behave like they are above the laws. No. If there is any mistake, the government arrests you, then investigates. If they find there's a problem, put in court. Lastly is multi-parties playing tribal politics is criminal. And it may cause some parties to be disbanded from elections. So let's behave.
Okay.
This is Uganda, not Uganda, not Bagisu, not Banyankore. No, that's very bad. We are all Ugandans. And likewise, Uganda is bigger than all of us.
Thank you so much, Katamba Muvunya, for your very fantastic contribution on the show. Thank you, Asime Bandizit, Apollo Tumsime, Deus Dedit Bwenje, and Musa Tukwatanase. Let's meet next Saturday on the big set. My name is Wes Gebanyaji. We have news at the top of the hour. Don't touch your radio because we have sports, music, entertainment. The sports roundup will be coming forthwith. Let's keep peace, Ugandans, for God and my country.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.